Hello everyone, and welcome to another book review of because of last week, I basically made my review of the Book of the Sith. And now, today, I just finished this book about half an hour ago. I finished it, and I'm here to give you my thoughts and my whole recommendation as the book. First off the bat, I'll say this, is that, do I like this as much as the Book of Sith? It's definitely very, very close, but I would say the Book of Sith, in my opinion, is much better than this one. But it does not diminish the value factor of the Book of Sith, of the Jedi Path. And basically, in this book, it basically pulls you all through the trials and all certain things of joining the clan of the Jedi. Basically, knowing all about the missions, all about the main components of being a Jedi, and basically of being a Jedi, being almost godly and almost basically in its own sense, almost becoming the trials and the steps of the Jedi, going from a simple Jedi Knight all the way up to being the Grandmaster of the Council. And it's really engaging, a very interesting read. There's definitely some standout parts, such as learning about certain lightsabers. Almost also like certain, not just lightsabers, but other certain types of other weapons that aren't really like lightsaber material. Like there's certain shields they have, there's swords, there's certain spears they would use. There's also different types of styles of lightsabers. Like they would have like a normal lightsaber. There's actually a smaller one, which is called a Shoto. If you want to look at the prime example of the Shoto short lightsaber, just look at Yoda. He basically has that because it suits his small stature of his own size. And there's also, what the bloody hell is it? Isn't it? Of course, duh. But there's, here's a good point. Right here it says Introduction to the Lightsaber, and it takes you all through the crystals, the shape, also the primary shape of the lightsaber suits not just what kind of stuff it shows. The style and the design actually mirrors your own complexion of the form of what you want to do, because there's 7 forms of Jedi lightsaber combat. There's Form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will not go into depth of that because there's some other YouTubers who are really into Star Wars who've literally mastered that. Like if you want to see some good examples of that, check out Jen Sarai's videos of the lightsaber descriptions. Like those are fantastic. Like, he really, really analytically talks about them very, very well, in my opinion. And not only does it take you through the Jedi trials, it takes you through the Jedi counseling, certain emissaries, almost type of journeys you're going to be prepared for, and it's really interesting. It's really, really good. Like I said before, continuing from the part I was talking about before of the lightsabers, is that there's also really big handle ones, like pretty much like for battleground masters who are very much into combat. There's double light-sided, there's joined lightsabers that you use 2 of them. Large or small, like I said before, the Shoto, which is a pretty much small one, if you want a good reference for that, like a Yoda, like I said before. But you can also choose 2, which could be pretty much the same or different designs you want. Very fluid type of combat. It looks very, very fun. You just search up like Star Wars YouTube, search up Star Wars lightsaber fights on here on YouTube, and you'll just find a bunch, and it's really, really super interesting to watch. It also takes you through the 3 pillars of the Jedi. The first one is of the Force. The second pillar is of knowledge, and then the third, which is the third pillar is self-discipline, which are very interesting. And the big thing that a lot of people may ask me about this is that, how does the Jedi differ from the Sith? Well, the Jedi view the Force, all that type of stuff, much more as a religion. It's much more, these are the rules, these are the foundations, but they will not change. They may be different, maybe not, but it's all about living by the code, serving the Jedi well, or what you should and shouldn't do as a Jedi, is that Jedi do not get compassionate, they do not get married, they do not get overly attached, you cannot be controlling certain things. They're almost like very intermediate. It's much more, it's not so much of instinct, which is much more of the Sith. They're much more of what is the right thing to do. Like, the main Jedi thing that they need to serve under is basically to serve the Republic, to help the helpless, to help the people who can't really help themselves. Which the Sith must view that as much more of the way of life. That's much more of, with the Sith, like I said before, they basically view that much more as a survival. They view that much more as not more. The Sith view the Force not much, or not the Force as much of a, probably not less of a, the Jedi's perspective, which is much more like a religion. The Sith's view of it is much more to their own interpretation. It's like, how does this benefit me, which I greatly described in my book, in the book of Sith Review. And it's very interesting of how the perspectives really do differ in perspective of each side. And there's a point in this book where they talk about the history of the Sith. When I first saw that, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be one-sided, isn't it? Once I read it, I'm just like, so it's like they're viewing it as pure evil. They're like, oh yeah, self-importance and what matters to you is so wrong, isn't it? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm much more of the Sith than Jedi in my view. But above all other things, this is a very interesting book, and it also takes you through also practicing Force sensibilities. It takes you through the trials, certain trials of Jedi ways, and showing you what is the benefit of doing that, or there's a pros and cons of accomplishing, a Jedi Knight, a Jedi Master, a Jedi Battle Master, a Jedi Grandmaster, the pros and cons of that, but also shows you the pros and the cons of failing that. And most people may think, oh, once you're a Jedi, you're destined to win, right? No, there's a bunch of examples they give in this book. Okay, not a bunch, but they do give few examples of people, or certain members of the Jedi who are knights and not warriors, not successfully going through. Some of them actually fail. They do not become Jedi Battle Masters. And if not, they get a second chance. If you fail that again, then you may never become a Jedi Master. And that's kind of sad in my view. I'm like, there's much more of a traditional route with a Jedi. It's much more, I wouldn't say strict, but it's much more orthodox. It's much more disciplined than the Sith, where the Sith is much more to the interpretation, like I said before. And I just found this book so fascinating of how this routes and how they go through accomplishing certain things within the Jedi Order, which are just incredibly fascinating. And in my view, it's just a really, really good book. Is it, in my view, as good as the Book of Sith? No, but in the end, it's still a damn good book. And before I end off, just like how I did with my Sith book review, I'm going to read to you the Jedi Code. There is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you later today with a video that I'm going to be resurrecting once again of a certain series I'm doing, and hopefully you'll enjoy that, and hopefully everyone, you enjoyed this video. Just like I said once before, I really, really highly recommend this book if you're into the Star Wars expanded universe and stuff like that. It's very, very good, and I would highly recommend it for anyone who is interested. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you with you later. I'm out.